Grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You know what we're about to do. So, yesterday we watched the interview between, or rather on Monday, please forgive me. We watched the interview between Tiffany Henyard and Cleo Draper of WVON in Chicago. Interview, it was a usual puff piece, political speech interview. And most of us felt like it was a bad interview, that it wasn't journalism. It wasn't a hard hitting interview by any means or measures. It was Roland Martin 2.0, if you want to say that. And there's something I'm noticing about people that engage with Tiffany Henyard, I think is starting to become a problem. And it's for the people outside because Tiffany Henyard is going to be Tiffany Henyard. But I'm starting to notice a trend with Tiffany Henyard. If you want to go back to as far as Chris Gonzalez, shout out to Chris Gonzalez. One of the things he's mentioned about his interaction with Tiffany Henyard is that he did not know that she had all these problems in Dalton before he had suggested her to be supervisor of Thornton. He said he didn't know all that stuff. So he didn't do his research. Now let's fast forward to Roland Martin. And he got shellacked by her on his own show so much that he actually came back a couple days later and apologized and acknowledged that he allowed Tiffany Henyard to get away with stuff. Why? Because he didn't know. He didn't do his research. And now jump even closer to Monday when Cleopatra Draper sat down with Tiffany Henyard. And we're going to watch the video. We're going to watch her explanation. And you're going to quickly see she didn't know anything about the woman. So it's almost as if Tiffany Henyard's superpower is people not doing their research about her, because we've all seen it. We've seen her mugshot when she was arrested for breaking into cars. We've seen the horrible video of her when she started that burger place, Good Burger, and such like that. We've seen that. We've seen all these examples, and we've probably done more research. I hate to say it. I think we did more research than Cleopatra Draper did. And she's supposed to be the hard hitting journalist. So I noticed that as just a trend, a theme, if you will, that seems to be going through everybody that interacts with Tiffany, that they don't do their research. And when they do their research, if you go back to WGN, that was the first and only time she ever took an unscripted interview with a newscaster. And the newscaster asked her about the trip to Vegas. And remember that? She said, I didn't go. She said, wait, you didn't go to Vegas? She said, well, it wasn't on their dime and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I should put that in there. The reason I bring it up is that was one of the few times that somebody had actually done some research before they actually talked to Tiffany. So then they had good questions to ask, and they knew where she was going to try to shellac them and where she was going to try to dodge and weave, and they were ready for her. They watched the tape, so to speak, is a football term. So what I want to do is I just want to pull this up. It's not long. She just did a quick segment to address this. Now, I do want to say that during the show, when I reviewed the interview, I said that she is not going to admit that she was wrong. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? She doesn't admit that she's wrong. So let's pull this in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this thing. I'm going to try not to interrupt a whole lot and let her just talk. Like I said, it's not super long. Maybe we'll watch it twice.
Listen, yesterday the show was on fire, whole nother level. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of views, of course, maybe to see me, but more importantly, to hear our guests as we came out the gate swinging with the super mayor. That's right, we had Tiffany Henyard in the building, taking calls, corresponding her version of the truth. And it's always three sides. It's your version, they version, and then there's the truth, right? And she gave her opinions and thoughts and reflections, apologetic, humble, spicy, cussing, when she got frustrated. And there was a lot of forgiveness in between, especially with the FCC. But listen, guys, I skimmed through and I got some feedback from personal friends in terms of, their take on the interview. And I want to say this: I don't have a dog in the race. As a journalist, it is my opportunity and privilege to pull out whatever you have to say. But one thing about whatever you have to say is that it's a record. So at the end of the day, no matter what was said, and her version of her experience as a leader of both Thornton and Dalton, we got a record, right? And she doesn't take many sit down opportunities and interviews. And I think she kept it all the way real. And for those that have feedback, especially those in opposition, we've received your call. So stay tuned because I'm apparently going to have the other side and on the mic too. And I love it. Everybody has an opportunity to correspond. And we need that because that 8 mile radius that is the village of Dalton of 21,000 people has been a hot button topic. So to come out the gate with an interview of that magnitude, I don't need y'all to give me my roses. I bring roses to Rosalind, and I'm humbled to have had that opportunity, but we're not done. We're going to continue that type of energy. So when I say high energy, that's the magnitude. Right now, you may not like who we interview, what we talk about, but I bet you listening because at the end of the day, it's very interesting to hear what the other side has to say. And I think that that's important. Now, I'm not saying that Trump gonna walk up in here, co-president Musk. They might. Trump bold. He came to the National Association of Black Journalists. And that interview didn't go as we thought it would, but at least he came. So you never know with WVON what we bring in. But I promise you, this host gonna bring that heat. And when we think back on that opportunity yesterday, I read one comment, oh, them some softball questions. I said, oh yeah. I don't know how you respond to why won't you quit? Why you keep running? As a person in a position like the super mayor, damn, it don't get no more realer than that.
All right. So that was the whole segment, her response. And I might go back and actually respond to a couple things that she says, but I can guarantee you this, as sure as my name is Jason, she's not going to be able to win if she has Jason House on there. And I'll tell you exactly why. Let's say she has the opposition. And we know she's talking about Jason House. But also there's, Cassandra Hobson Jordan as well. It doesn't matter. If she has them on there and she goes hard in the paint, she's gonna look like a Tiffany Henyard supporter. And nobody's gonna trust her anymore. If she has Jason or Cassandra on there and she does softball questions like she did Tiffany, nobody's going to see her as serious and not going to support her. She can't win. She messed up the bag. This was literally the equivalent of messing up the bag, in my opinion. Now, somebody can come back and say, oh, no, she's going to have great, and she might have Jason on there. It might be a great interview. I don't know. But I don't believe that's going to be the case at all. I think she really messed up yesterday. And you see here from the interview, she doesn't recognize that it was her lack of preparation that really stymied this interview because she could have been crushing it. She could have been, but Tiffany gave her some softballs with some of the lies that she told. Example being the ice rink. We talked about the ice rink, right? I do think it was those like floor tile things. Doing some more research, I do think that's what Tiffany was trying to explain. But it was clear from to us that it sounded like she was talking about ice, like you get ice at the vending machine. Well, Cleopatra could have asked a clarifying question like, "What do you mean by that?" Or even better question, "Who bought it?" Because that's the big question. It's not necessarily what was bought as much as it is who bought it. Because if it were Jason House that bought it, or Kiana Belcher, I think people would be up in arms. If it was Michael Smith that bought it, if it was Andrew Holmes that bought it, guess what? People up in arms. Who paid for it? That's what they want to know. And Cleopatra had the clear opportunity to ask more questions. But wait, 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 wait. She wasn't prepared. Therein is the problem. And please understand, just to say that you don't have a dog in the race, ma'am, let's just say for laughs and giggles, I think they're probably about a whole whopping 20 miles away from Dalton, let's just say Chicago and Dalton, let's say 20 miles. Baby, I live in Atlanta and I know this. How is it that you don't know this and you 20 miles away? And I know you've heard the rumblings. I know you've heard what's going on. So you can't say, "Oh, it was not something of my concern." No, ma'am. It's down the street around the corner from you. It's closer to you than it is my University of Georgia to me. For crying out loud, it might be closer than Morehouse is to me. Baby, don't try that. So I think Cleopatra really set herself up to not be successful by not preparing herself. I'm gonna play this video again and I'll stop a little bit because there's some key moments that I think totally missed it. And somebody said it right here. Anybody that brings their own roses is too arrogant for me. Dwayne, I'm right there with you. The term give me my roses is a term that somebody should be giving me something. Somebody should be acknowledging what I've done, not me acknowledging myself and I got myself my rose. That just sounds weird. You must That's what dads do when they buy themselves Father's Day presents and wrap it up and give it to the kids and give to them. That's that. Like that's just strange. That's just weird. But let me pull this back in. Shout out to everybody who just jumped in and got about 120 of y'all. If you don't mind, hit that like button. Help your boy out. We're looking at Cleopatra Draper and her response to what I call the disastrous, defiant interview with Tiffany Henyard on Monday. And I thought, I thought that uh, initially I thought Cleopatra was gonna come on and she's gonna do like the Roland Martin, eat crow, and admit that she got Shanghai. Nope. Later on, I said, nah, she's not gonna repent. And guess what? She did not repent. And I mean repent or acknowledge that she didn't do a good job in this interview. So let's just check it out. I want to hear what y'all think about it. I will be stopping periodically. Let's go.
Listen, yesterday the show was on fire. Whole nother level. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of views.
That's another reason why I don't think she'll ever be able to get back up to that level because Tiffany Henyard, sad to say, is a lightning rod. Tiffany Henyard is a draw. She likes to say she's clickbait. That's the only reason people were scouring up and down, left and right to find this interview is because why? Because she's talking to Tiffany. Nobody knows who she talked about on Tuesday. Nobody knows who she talked about today. I don't even know. I just found this clip and when that was it. I don't even care who she talked to. So I don't think they're going to see that high level of engagement week upon week upon week. At best, this will carry over. The halo effect will carry over till Thursday. But I think that's going to be about the summation of it. But let me finish.
Of course, maybe to see me, but more importantly, to hear our guests as we came out the gate swinging with the Superman. That's right. We had Tiffany Henyard in the building, taking calls, corresponding her version of the truth. And it's always three sides. It's your version, they version, and then there's the truth, right? And she gave her opinions and thoughts and reflections, apologetic, humble, spicy, cussing, when she got frustrated. And there was a lot of forgiveness in
Let me point out something here because I'm gonna back up just a little smidgen. Yeah, I know I like to back up. Let me see, back this up. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. She didn't give her opinion. She didn't give her opinion. Tiffany Henyard spoke as if what she was saying was truth. Dare I say gospel truth? She was talking like it was the truth. And Cleopatra had the opportunity to ask more clarifying questions and make sure that it was an opinion or was she making a statement of truth? And she didn't. She talked about the ice rink. She talked about the getting evicted. She talked about all those things. Like for crying out loud, why not just ask her? Like, wait, you're staying with a man that his name is on the lease and your name is not on the lease, and you're not hawkishly making sure that the rent is paid because you're tied to him extricably? I mean, the man is in the room with them for crying out loud. Stop pretending like it didn't happen. So it wasn't just an opinion. She was making statements of fact. If we go back and watch it, I'm sure we will not get opinion vibes. So no, that was not right, Cleopatra. That's wrong.
energetic, humble, spicy, cussing, when she got frustrated. And there was a lot of forgiveness in between, especially with the FCC. But listen, guys, I skimmed through and I got some feedback from personal friends in terms of, their take on the interview.
I'm gonna say this with all sincerity. As they like to say, respectfully, you need some better friends. Respectfully, you need some other friends. They can't be your line sisters. They can't be your fellow journalists in the building. They can't be somebody who's getting paid by you. They need to be somebody who can tell you that your breath stinks. And I'm sorry, if somebody watched that interview and didn't tell you, girl, your breath stank. I'm sorry, that's not a friend of yours. They lied to you. They lied to you. I'm sorry. There's no way that you can say again, like I would like for her to go back and watch it objectively herself. I watch my own videos. I see things that I do, and there's sometimes I'm like, "What the devil was I thinking?" It was the dumbest thing, and it's too late. I mean, my video I did today on the woman chose the bear. That thing, I had a good time doing that video though, but there's some mistakes in there. There's some flubs in there. I have friends that watch my content and tell me that though. I have friends that say, "Man, what the world was you talking about right here at 20 minutes and 15 seconds? What was you doing? What is wrong with you?" Baby, if you don't have friends that can correct you, I don't need people to tell me I'm great. See, that's going back to the bringing roses. I bring my own roses. That's fine. The roses that I need is somebody to say, "Jason, bruh, it is about time for you to go get your beard trimmed up. You look like John the Baptist out in the wilderness. Stop it. Go get your beard cleaned up. Get it tight. My guy, what are you doing? You're in front of this camera, the camera 3 feet from your face, and all we see is beard looking crazy. Get it tightened up." That's the kind of those are the roses that you need. You don't need somebody to lie to you. Cleopatra, people lied to you. They told you that this was okay. Baby, they lied to you. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. My name is Jason. Dearwokec@gmail.com.
Personal friends in terms of, their take on the interview. And I want to say this, I don't have a dog in the race.
That's that's bad. She ran for elected. Let me tell you exactly why she should have a dog in the race. She lives in Chicago. Tiffany is in the metro Chicago area. We're not talking about she all the way in California. She ain't in Timbuktu. She down the street around the corner from you. She too is a black woman. She is a mother. She too, I mean, she's an entrepreneur. All those boxes that you want to check, all that stuff. Why don't you want to hold her accountable? I'll wait and understand that. Break it down. Because you don't have friends that care about you like that. I'm just going to be honest with you. You did not take the opportunity to really set her straight and give her some good, clear, constructive criticism. And by the way, she mentioned that Tiffany Henyard was apologetic. No, she was not. You kept asking her, would she apologize or does she think she needs to change? And Tiffany said no. So because I put the word apology out there, that doesn't mean that Dwayne is apologetic in his response. He said, "Jason, go jump in the lake." He's not apologetic. He hurt my feelings. He's not apologetic. By the way, shout out to that. Thank you so much, my friend. But no, 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 no. And I think she's still missing the whole point. She is the reason why the interview was trash. We already knew we came to hate watch on Tiffany. Yes, we was here to talk trash about Tiffany because we think she's not a good person. That's true. But ma'am, you could have made it an excellent interview by holding her feet to the fire because we'd have been like, whoa, she held her feet to the fire. I wonder what's going to happen when Jason comes. I wonder what'll happen if Cassandra, what's her name, comes? Or what if she has Lori Lightfoot on there? Lori light her feet up. Man, she did a great job. Yeah. Hey, yo, I'm gonna follow. See, we would have believed that. We don't believe that you're gonna hold anybody else accountable. Trump will come in there and make a fool of you too. You can throw shade at them if you want to, but they're gonna come in there and lie to you. They're gonna come in there and bamboozle you and Shanghai you because you let Tiffany do it. Let me go.
As a journalist, it is my opportunity and privilege to pull out whatever you have to say. But one thing about whatever you have to say is that it's a record.
I don't think she realized what she just said. She said, "Whatever you say, it is now on the record." There's a record of it. So then my obvious question is, man, why didn't you go back and run the record of the things that she said? You could have watched 2 board meetings. If you knew that this was gonna be your coming out party, because this was her first interview and this is her first day on the job. So if you knew that all of these firsts were gonna be there, first time, interviewing Tiffany Henyard, first time on this job, first job, all those firsts, you couldn't have just watched the board meeting? You literally had to ask her to explain to you about the whole New Jack City thing, the Nino Brown, and then she sat there and lied to you and said she was impersonating Martin, which didn't make sense if you think about it. It makes no sense. Nobody puts a red cape on and blue spandex and flies around a room and says, "Oh, I'm impersonating somebody who's impersonating Superman." No, everybody says, I was impersonating Superman." But you let her sit there and tell you, "Oh, she was impersonating Martin, who's impersonating Nino Brown." That makes no sense. But you let her do it. You did no preparation at all. I don't know how many people you needed to do that, but if you were going to sit down with, I guarantee you, if I got a phone call today and Shannon Sharp said, "Jason, you know what, man, I see you over there crushing it. I want you to come and sit down with me. Let me tell you something. I'm watching everything I can find about Shannon Sharp. Everything. I'm gonna try my best to be as interested in Shannon Sharp as possible. I'm gonna become a student of Shannon Sharp. I'm gonna try to learn everything I can. I'm gonna get there early. I'm gonna talk to his staff, his assistants. I'm talking to the hairdresser. I'm talking to everybody I can. I'm gonna stay as late as they let me stay and watch as much as I can watch. I'm learning everything that I can. And I'm gonna try my very best to be the most interesting interview possible because I'm trying to help. I want him to grow. And good gracious in the morning, if he has me on, I want to grow too. That's just it. Cleopatra, you sat there. I don't think you watched anything. Maybe you don't think. Maybe you don't think Tiffany's that important. I don't know. Maybe you just thought you could just freestyle it. Maybe that's how you've been doing it. I don't know. But ma'am, that was a horrible interview. Let's go.
So at the end of the day, no matter what was said, and her version of her experience as a leader of both Thornton and Dalton, we got a record, right? And she doesn't take many sit down opportunities and interviews. And I think she kept it all the way real.
How do you know that? How do you know that, Cleopatra? How do you know that she doesn't take many sit down interviews? Oh, because you looked? Oh, did you watch the interviews that she's done? How about that? Why is it that she always does shaky cam interviews where she's talking to her own camera, where she's just talking? Have you ever noticed that? She doesn't have one on one. She doesn't do mano a mano dialogues. Are usually monologues where she's just talking. You know why? Because she doesn't want to get pushed back. She doesn't want to get pressed, as the kids like to say. You had the opportunity to press her. You had the opportunity to push back. And what did you do? Fumbled it. That's what you did. I'm here for it.
And for those that have feedback,
Me?
especially those in opposition, we've received your call. So stay tuned because I'm apparently going to have the other side and on the mic too.
I don't think she is. If she does, I'll be surprised. I'll say that like that. I'm not going to say emphatically that she will not. I'm just going to say if she does have Jason House or Cassandra Hobson Jordan on there, I think it's going to be surprising. They're going to probably go to another radio station. I mean, there's some other humongous radio stations on the FM dial in Chicago that would probably do much better. I don't think that this looked like um sister girls. This looked like homegirls. This did not look like corrective journalism or challenging journalism. That's the word I want to use. This didn't look like challenging journalism. There is no way. If my name was Jason, well, my name is Jason. Sorry about that. If I was Jason House running for mayor of Dalton, I would look over this as just like another Tiffany Henyard puff piece. I'm trying to get on WGCI. I'm trying to get on another big station. I'm going to come down here to Dear Will Christian and talk with him. I'm going to talk to somebody who's going to press me, but give me an opportunity to really express who I am and give me a little bit of tension and pushback. That's all. This didn't look like that. So I don't now maybe she will. Maybe they will. So I will gladly say, hey, if they do have them on, I'll gladly review that interview as well. I don't think they will though. In my opinion, I wouldn't see this as a reason. I don't see this as a viable option. And then also it's on the AM dial. I'm not trying to be foul with AM dial. They don't have a good presence because a lot of people are getting their information online and they don't have a good online presence So just an observation. I don't think, and they're on Facebook. That's primarily where they post. Like, ma'am, who's doing that? Sorry.
And I love it. Everybody has an opportunity to correspond. And we need that because that 8-mile radius that is the village of Dalton of 21,000 people
She knows
has
that
been a
though.
hot button topic. So to come out the gate with an interview of that magnitude, I don't need y'all to give me my roses. I bring roses to Rosalind.
We'll leave the rose conversation alone. You had an interview of that magnitude. And you know why it was really that magnitude? Is because it was a complete and utter fumble. Everybody expected you to run it into the end zone. Everybody expected you to have a great, you know, carry. They threw the ball to you and you carry. You fumbling the ball all the way to the 20-yard line and it bounces out of bounds. Like this was a fumble. This was not a again, it wasn't the only reason people watch this because they and you probably can tell, I'm sure they probably know if they look at their stats from that Monday stat to Tuesday to Wednesday, I'm pretty sure those numbers are not as good as Monday. So, man, they didn't. But if people saw you as like, oh she she's serious, and then you have somebody serious on Tuesday, I'm like, okay, I might watch her again because she gave Tiffany that business. She gave Tiffany that work. Nope. I'm sorry, man. You fumbled this. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
And I'm humbled to have had that opportunity, but we're not done. We're going to continue that type of energy. So when I say high energy, that's the magnitude.
I don't think she went back and watched that interview. I don't know if she'll watch this. Maybe somebody will watch this and y'all can clip this. Just clip this and tell her, ma'am, go back and watch that interview objectively. Just watch it objectively and watch and scrutinize yourself. Don't watch it to say, "Ooh, my glasses was busting and my curls was tight." No, 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 no. Look for problems and errors and fumbles and look for those unforced errors. And I think you'll see them pretty quickly. Ma'am, this was not a good interview. And it doesn't elicit, in my opinion, it doesn't elicit like, oh man, I can't wait to see who you interview next. I almost don't care because I know you're not serious about doing your research and you're going to have to prove to us that you did your research. Let's finish up.
Right now, you may not like who we interview, what we talk about, but I bet you listening. Because at the end of the day, it's very interesting to hear what the other side has to say. And I think that that's important. Now, I'm not saying that.
So let me ask this question. What if Jason House and his team saw this, Ed Steve saw this, and they say, man, we are not going to mess with them. There's no way. That was horrible. That was a Tiffany Henyard puff piece. It doesn't matter. She talked about facts and such like that and showed no facts and so on and so forth. And they don't want to come on your channel. Now you got egg on your face. Now you got egg on your face. Sure, you can say you invited them and they can say, sure, we turned it down because it's not going to be it's not a serious interview. Like you really did shoot yourself in the foot. I'm sorry. And the bad thing is that and it could have been resolved. It could have been salvageable if you had just come on and admitted. But I mean, you're coming across like I did everything right. Everything is popping, everything's buzzing. Baby, let me tell you, it's not. That is not the truth in any way, shape, or form. That was a horrible interview.
Trump gonna walk up in here, co-president Musk. They might. Trump bold. He came to the National
I don't know how Trump got in
Association of
this.
Black Journalists. And that interview didn't go as we thought it would, but at least he came. So you never know with WVON what we bring in. But I promise you, this host gonna bring that heat.
Baby, you brought the same heat that I have when I rub my hands together for a few seconds to heat up a steak. Ma'am, there was no heat there. I mean, you can say that and puff yourself up. If it makes you feel good, sure. I don't want you to, be distraught. But ma'am, that was horrible. The idea, the notion that was a serious journalistic, and maybe we should go back through the interview again. I'm not going to do that tonight. Uh, if I can get the moderators just to drop the link to the video, y'all watch it and tell me. Maybe I'm crazy. It is highly possible. that I am crazy. My kids have said worse things about me. It's very possible. Maybe I'm just missing it completely and totally. Let me find this video real quick. But that video was not something to that was not something that promoted this strong impersonation that you know what you're doing. I'll just tell you that tell you that right off the bat. And okay, fine. If this was your first time at the rodeo, then that's fine. Ma'am, you're gonna have to realize that the rodeo is gonna be a slow boil for you because I can't see why anybody would believe that you're serious moving forward. My 2 cents.
And when we think back on that opportunity yesterday, I read one comment, oh, them some softball questions. I said, oh yeah. I don't know how you respond to why won't you quit? Why you keep running?
I don't think that question was posed as if you were telling the person that they needed to, but more of a that I'm sorry. And maybe I should go back and watch that part again as well. But I don't think that question when you ask about why do you keep running, it was not posed as a like there's a deficiency in Tiffany, but you were looking more like there's a problem in the process, and she's not getting the results that she wants. There's a total difference to that. There's a night and day difference to that.
As a person in a position like the super mayor, damn, it don't get no more realer than that.
I'm gonna also point out you're using the moniker of affection. I can't. For example, if um if I can you imagine if Kamala Harris had sat down in any of those interviews, and let's just say she called herself uh, the super VP. Okay, can you imagine any serious journalist referring to her as a super VP? Can you imagine that? I'm just like some kind of moniker that she gave herself, and maybe hey, maybe she did have that, and maybe there was one. Y'all can send that to me, dearwokec@gmail.com. But no, nobody would take that journalist serious. You're calling them by their moniker, their made up handle, their pet name that they've given themselves. Nobody would take that seriously, ma'am. You're calling her the super mayor rather than Tiffany Henyard, rather than Mayor Henyard, rather than because she was talking primarily about Dalton, but even saying, but the super mayor, you're calling her by the moniker. Nobody would take you seriously. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jason House didn't engage with you because again, you come across like a fan. You come across like a super fan of the super mayor, not a journalist that's calling her that's calling her on the carpet. Timu Tiff, you are out of control. You're out of control. Um, I would have to ask about all the bonds, lawsuits, settlements of Chicago for water. Um, And what about the abandoned houses? I haven't heard these questions asked. And there, see, that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of questions that she could have asked. There's a lot of stuff that they've been proposing down there. And you can't say that I don't have a dog in the race. That's complete. You literally live within earshot of the place. You can't say that. You can't. You cannot say that. And I think Cleopatra was grossly inappropriate for saying, "Oh, I don't have a dog in the race." Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do. If nothing else, it's down the street around the corner from y'all. If nothing else. Yeah. And I think Dwayne had another good point here. This is why I was concerned about the Ed Steve interviewing Jason House. They are both on the same side, and Steve could have asked better questions. I agree. He could have asked better questions. I think I even mentioned that in my review of that interview. Now I do think they were better than these. I don't think this was a complete fumble. I just don't think they were as strong and pushback inducing as I would like them to have been. But I don't think again, if we want to put apples to apples, comparatively, I'm fine with the way Edward Steve asked questions. The way Cleopatra Draper asked them was completely lacking in every way, shape, and form. I think Jason House can handle tough questions. I agree. I don't have any problem with that. A good grilling would probably make him look better. In comparison, I think Tiff would just fall apart. No, I agree 1000%. I just don't know if, like, for example, David, thank you so much for that great comment and for being a member to the channel. I don't know if Like, for example, let's say Jason House does come to WVON to sit down and he gets a grilling. Well, people are going to immediately say, well, you played fair with Tiffany, but you had Jason. You did all this research on Jason. So it's going to make her look bad either way. So that's what I'm saying. Like Jason probably just better off going to another radio station or a podcast or whatever and get the I'm putting the ask out there. I'm putting the ask out there. I would love to interview Jason House. I'd interview Tiffany if she want to come on here, but she got to remember, I'm gonna ask her them questions. I'm gonna get in them business because that's what y'all want to hear and that's what y'all want to understand. And I don't think that it's fair to her to only ask softball questions and allow her to sit there and lie. So he does. He probably does know where the skeletons are buried. He probably does. And so I think having him on or having him talk about those things and such and ask tough questions. Because I mean, there are some gaps in their story too. He's not perfect. I mean, there's a lot of shenanigans and hijinks that happen with him. And I mean that you can pin on those trustees. So yeah, Clean House 2025 is definitely night and day better than the Injustice League. But they got some issues too. Like, let's not, y'all got to clean behind your ears just like everybody else. That's all I'm saying. So, no, but it was interesting though. I saw that interview, I saw the response, and I thought it was good. And I said, let me just real quick capture that and come on real quick and talk about it and get your 2 cents as well. So we can all kind of put it together and hopefully make $1 out of it. But I want to say thank y'all to all of y'all who checked out the video. Thank you for tapping in. I know it's kind of spur of the moment. I saw it on my way back from family dinner tonight. I said, oh man, I got to do it. So I didn't have a lot of time to prepare, but I appreciate y'all and give y'all a heads up. So I appreciate y'all checking it out. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me and all that kind of good jazz. We got a lot of fun stuff planned for the rest of the week. I got a collaboration on Saturday. I'll make sure you all are aware of that and in the loop. And next week, my goodness, in the morning, we already got a lot going on next week. So I will keep you all well informed. So I want to say thank you all so much for helping me hit, as I said before, the 50,000 subscribers by the end of April. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate y'all watching the videos. I appreciate y'all engaging in the comment section. I see a lot of the faces that are here in the live chat, on the live chat, in the comment section. I want to say thank y'all so much. It means a lot that y'all find value in this type of content, which is social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective. I really appreciate it. And if you do, look, I'm fine with commentary. I'm fine with pushback. So I'll always drop my email right here, dearwokec@gmail.com. If I said something that was not right, a lot of y'all set me straight about my mispronunciation of where Mississippi Valley State University was located. Lots of people want to make sure I put it in the right spot. And I heard you loud and clear. But no, I really appreciate it. Nonetheless, I want to say thank y'all so much. So yeah, if you want to shoot me an email, whatever like that, tell me I'm terrible. You want to tell me where I can go get a good barber, whatever like that. Hey, I appreciate it nonetheless. So, hey, thank y'all so much. Let's do this again real soon, everybody. I thank y'all. Have a fantastic night. And until then, grace and peace. Take care.
Hit that like for Deal Christian. Yo, for Deal Christian, smash that bell. For DWC, yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for Deal Christian. For Deal Christian, smash that bell. For DWC, yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for Deal Christian.